Okay, so these are my 4 blob characters that I think explain politics much better than the existing blob characters. So this one is envyism, the guy who's motivated by envy. This is bigotism, motivated by bigotry. This guy is cautiousism, who's motivated by sort of pragmatic caution. And then this guy is rebelism, motivated by rebellious.
Interesting.
See, he's flaming with anger at established authority.
All right, so let's hear your conception of the political spectrum based off these guys.
I mean, I think that there's obviously a lot of envy that animates some people's basic sort of political disposition. I think if you think of like stereotypical far left-wing sort of people, I think at core a lot of far left politics is animated by envy. And then conversely, I think a lot of far right politics is animated by bigotry, you know, intense sort of pathological hatred or fear of the other. And then you have cautiousism, which I think is sort of like the philosophy of the pragmatic kind of center left or center right, where you're in favor of, you know, any sort of reform or conservatism or whatever, but it's moderated by a sort of dispositional sense of caution. And then you have rebelism, which is, you know, the sort of person who's the opposite of this, someone who is kind of animated by a spirit of contempt or defiance of established authority and the established order and established institutions. And I do think that sort of these are based more on kind of emotional dispositions, which I think ultimately power politics much more than philosophy or ideology.
I'm that one. I'm that one.
Which one?
That one.
This one?
No, that one.
This one?
Yeah, you're that one.
Most young people are this, and as they get older, they become more like this.
No, that won't happen to me. That's just you.
This one's me?
That's just you.
So you go, generally speaking, you go like this. You're this as a young person, and then you go to this, and then as you become an old, aged boomer, you go to this.
Well, there you go. That's the entire theory of everything in terms of political spectrum. You've dumbed it down to 4 balls.
Agreed. They're blobs, not balls.
They're balls. Fine, blobs.
Mm.
It's called Polkump ball, not Polkump blob.
Polkump blob?
Political compass ball.
I always saw them more as like blobs. I mean, like they're squishy and stuff.
Well, it's Poland ball, right? Have you seen the Poland ball, the country balls?
I know of the country balls.
Yeah, they're not country blobs.
Well, I know, but they are blobs as things.
Anyway, there's the theory of everything contained within 4 blobs.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, let's see the newest innovation that will shape up the blob world like never before, because JJ thinks it's blob and not ball.
Okay, so the latest innovation in the blob world are what I call the organ blobs.
No!
So we have all of our favorite parts of the body that are now represented by blob people, just like the ideologies.
You don't understand how the blobs work. It's supposed to be abstract concepts, not teeth.
This is tooth blob, and then heart blob, and lungs blob, and this one is eye blob. And they're all, you know, friends, and they talk and stuff. It's like tooth one is always like, you know, it's always, you know, eating lots of calcium and, you know, so on. And then the heart one, he's very energetic because it's like, you know, the heart is racing. And then the lungs, they like are going swimming underwater, and if it's polluted, then they're suffering. And then the eye one is always looking out for stuff. Very observant. You know?
Why did you think this was a good idea?
Well, I mean, the kids like the blobs.
Yeah, they like the blobs because the blobs represent abstract concepts.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Like countries or ideologies.
But an organ can be an abstract concept too, right? Like we have associations with the heart as an organ, or with the eye as an organ. You know, the eye is the window into the soul, and that sort of thing, right? Like the lungs are, you know, it's not just the organ of the lungs.
All right. Show what would a funny comic look like involving these characters? Tell me a story with these characters.
So it's like, you know, it'd be like maybe the someone is smoking, and then like the lungs ball is like, don't smoke around me, I'm the lungs, you know, like something like that, you know?
Dude, no.
And it's like the tooth one would be like, he'd be like drinking some milk, and he'd be like, I love milk. And then, yeah, I think there's some possibilities here. I mean, I don't know a lot about the human body, But I think that for people that are interested in like anatomy and all that, I think you could come up with some like med students. They could put these things in some fun situations. Like there's got to be like in jokes about like.
Why do they have to be balls? Why can't you just have like a tooth with
because
eyes?
the kids like the blobs.
Yeah, but
right?
you may as well just put the eyes on the tooth, make an anthropomorphic tooth.
Yeah, but the kids can't draw that complex.
Well, you have to draw the tooth to draw the ball.
Yeah, but it's easier to draw it like this than it is to like draw the whole thing.
You're drawing the whole thing anyway. You're drawing a tooth. You're drawing heart. You're drawing lungs.
Yeah, I know, but it's different because it's on the blob, right? It's like the flags are easier to draw because they're blobs, right? Flags are hard to draw. But
Yes.
The kids draw the blob flags, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But I mean...
Are you streaming this?
No, I'm just recording.
I think that the people would agree that there's some possibilities here.
Stop. No more blob innovation for you, JJ. You want to explain your Myers-Briggs ball?
The Myers-Briggs ball?
Myers ball.
Okay, so this one is the Myers-Briggs ball. And so it's like everybody has Myers-Briggs things. I don't really understand it that well, but you have different letters, right? And everybody has a combination of 4 letters. And so I was thinking, what if the blobs are all sort of connected in a pile? And then so every person, all 16 of the different possible combinations, is represented as like a pile of blobs that then combine to create a new character, And they sort of fuse together. I was thinking about Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which was a game for the Sega Genesis where you like pile these colored things and they sort of fuse together. And it'd sort of be fun, right? Because then there's like 16 different like sort of tower type of characters. How would you characterize this sort of? What does it look like to you?
Looks like the cactus enemy in Mario.
See, that could work. It could be lots of different things, right? It could be like a caterpillar, or it could be like a cactus. That's a good one. It could be like a ball of beads.
Okay. So the extroverted guy, he's like what? He's gray and has a top hat.
Yeah, so like the extroverted one is the one in charge, because he's like the first letter, and he's extroverted, so he's got like a hat, which sort of shows that he means business. And then the N, which is for intuition. I don't really understand what that means, but he has like arms for like grabbing.
Intuition is when you rely more on your intuition rather than your physical senses to make decisions.
So maybe he shouldn't have hands then. What is the opposite of intuition?
Sensory.
Sensory should probably have hands because he's like feeling.
Yeah.
And then the thinking one is, I think, pretty obviously just deep in thought.
Deep in
right?
thought, yeah.
And then the perception one is going like, he's trying to perceive the situation.
I see.
Right? So, I mean, I don't know this as well as I know the organs, but I think there's something there. I think people would like if there was 16 different blob towers representing. And then sometimes the blobs can be separate too, right?
Okay, but JJ, they already do this on Instagram. They just use the things on the 16personalities.com.
I know, but those are probably like proprietary, right? This is I'm willing to give this to the public domain.
Yeah, this is OC, this is your gift to the world.
This is my gift to the world. The towers.
I think the world might be re-gifting this.
I've sent it to Frank James, see what he says. Cautiously optimistic that this will get the FJ seal of approval. So I think there's a lot to this.
JJ, what do we got now?
Okay, I admit that some of my other blob ideas might not be to everybody's taste, but I think this one's got real legs. So this is the color blobs.
Oh no.
So, I mean, colors are one of the great sort of universals of civilization, right? We all think about colors, we all associate colors with lots of different concepts and ideas. So now we got the color blobs, and they're lots of fun. So the red one is obviously angry because he's got like that. And then the green one is sort of like a hippie, green, that kind of stuff. He likes to garden. And the purple one is like royal, because like royal purple kind of stuff. The yellow one is very happy, sunny disposition, likes to hang out in the sun, likes to eat lemons. The orange, I couldn't really think of what orange is associated with, so he's just literally an orange. But he probably like eats like carrots and
Shouldn't you have made the yellow one like a little oblique?
Why?
Because you like make him look like a lemon.
Well, they're not fruit balls. That is going to be a different one.
All right.
And the blue one is sad, and then the pink one is kind of like a gender normative like girl, right?
So the blue one is sad.
Yeah, and the red one is angry.
Yeah, you just made like Inside Out, but with like
Some
non-emotionally related characters.
I know, because the inside out characters are colors because those colors are associated with the emotions. But these people are like the colors first and foremost.
Right.
So like red is the red character opens up the possibility to be in any sort of situation where red is common. So it's like you could have red, he could be like eating red fruits, or he could be a communist, or he could like be with blood, or red, and so on in that sort of direction. So the strength of these characters is that there is so many situations that involve color, right? You don't have to, everybody can have an entry point to discuss color and think of color-based scenarios. It doesn't require a lot of political knowledge, a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of historical knowledge, no geography. It's just the simple, accessible human universality that is color and color theory.
So, Blue, I guess, would be the boy. So he's literally a sad boy.
A sad boy, and he's with the girly pink girl. So like, yeah, is there some romantic drama here perhaps? Maybe.
All right. Tell me a story with these characters.
Okay, so Red is mad.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like talking with one of the other ones, and they're like, "What job do you want, Red?" And he's like, "I want to be a fireman because I like the fire truck," which is also red, right? So, things of that sort. The green one, I think, has a lot of possibility because, like, green is nature, so he could always be, like, planting trees and stuff of that sort. He's a bit of a hippie, Like that, and it could also be envious sometimes because green is an envy color, but mostly, like, defined by nature, And he's like, "Cheer up! I'm sunny, yellow, good sun color." I don't know. I think there's a lot to work with here. I'm really more the ideas guy. The kids can sort of flesh this out and put these in all sorts of fun scenarios, right?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't all have to be about politics, right?
No.
Like this is the thing, right? Like the country balls and your politics balls. It's only fun for people that are interested in those topics.
Yes.
But there's other people that want to have fun with the blob characters, but don't necessarily want it always to be talking about heavy, serious stuff like politics or geopolitical relations. Right?
Yeah.
With the color balls, you got that opportunity.
Right. So like,
I just.
I have nothing to say, JJ.
This is.
You're speechless. I get it.
This is the purest form of boomerism I've ever seen.
I think this is my finest work.
JJ, I want to show you examples of successful ideology, like balls that people actually will use. So let's look up Chrome ball, okay? Chrome ball. Reddit. See,
like these are no better than my body part balls. They're just the balls.
No, look at this. Look, Firefox, you have Discord.
Yeah, but they're just balls with the thing slapped on them.
Well, yes, I mean, but the idea.
Look, that one even has the same face as my ENT.
Yeah, I mean,
ball.
there's only so many faces you can put on a ball. But I mean, look at this. Like Internet Explorer, there's clearly a lot of drama innate to that.
I mean, it's just. But see, it's like you could make any of these balls. Like these are just like the stories are just so rudimentary. It's just kind of like here's what that thing does, right? So it's like I could make a story with any of my ball characters just doing the exact same thing, right? It's like you could just have a story where it's like red ball and yellow ball meet and fall in love, and it's like, oh, look at our baby, it's orange ball, right? It's just very literal.
All right, here's another example of a successful ball. Right? LG ball T.
Yeah, but the sexual and gender identity balls, all they basically do is just explain what their concept is. Like, look at that one. It's literally just pointing to a chart explaining a thing.
I mean, these fall into natural allegiances. You can go deep into learning which one's which. There's some funny jokes. Stop pushing the trans agenda, says the anti-trans ball. The agender ball says, I don't have agenda.
What's an anti-trans ball?
It's someone who doesn't like trans people.
Why does that have a ball?
It just is the representation of a bigot.
Okay. What's happening? But it's like 90% of these jokes are just, well, I mean, they're not even jokes. They're just like, the comics is just like, this is my gender identity.
All right, this one's funny. Are you a boy or a girl? I'm non-binary. I don't have genitals. I'm a ball.
It's very meta. But like, it's not, this is not very complex.
All right. Now we look at the grandfather of all these balls, Poland ball. And look at this. So much. You already know. You know what the UK character is going to be. You know what the American character is going to be. Roman.
But I mean, like these ones are just based on these very like shallow national stereotypes, right?
That's the whole point. All the balls are stereotypes.
I know, but that's not very deep.
Well, you make it deep by working within those stereotypes. You can tell a deep story, but you have these one-dimensional characters that you flesh out.
But it's like you couldn't tell a story about America that doesn't presuppose certain stereotypical characteristics of America, right? Because like in these comics, it's America's always like this sort of swaggering, arrogant, sort of society. I mean, a lot of it's all sort of bound up in geopolitics as well, right? So it's all fundamentally about how one of the countries relate to one of the other countries.
But it's democratic as to how those relationships are canonically recognized in lore. People decide as a community, that the UK ball has a monocle and drinks tea and has a top hat.
Yeah, but very few British people are like that or have ever been like that.
It doesn't matter. It's because that's what everybody wants it to be.
But
so
but that's what I'm saying, right? It's like if you can just develop this kind of independent lore that is detached from what these countries actually are, like if it just sort of gets a life of its own, why could you not do the same thing with the color characters or the body part characters or anything else, right? There's clearly like a momentum that is like these are not positing that this is like some sort of definitive educational source. It's just kind of a fun community of characters that people have fun with, and they make them do things that are kind of loosely inspired by reality, but not really.
Here's the difference between your tooth ball and these balls is that these represent broad concepts. But
they're also very inaccessible because look at this thing. Well, this is 1984, so like that's about the book, right? So it's like, I look at this thing. It's like expectation, reality. It's like, I have no idea what any of this means.
Well, this is the ANCAP.
Yeah. But it's like normal people do not know what an ANCAP is, let
alone
recognize like this complex sort of color stuff. Or like, look at this one. So he's saying, eat the rich. I have no idea what these things. This one looks like Spider-Man. And this one is like, I don't know what this is. Like, this is not accessible, right? Nobody knows what sort of esoteric Reddit political weird stuff is. Everybody knows what colors are. Everybody knows what body parts are. If we had like, vegetable balls or like fruit balls or...
What you fail to understand about the ball community is that we're willing to learn all these different things. So understand the jokes. So you click you click into the link, and then you understand what the joke is. And some of the jokes are pretty easy to understand, like this one. Clearly, this is the anarcho-communist.
That is not clear at all.
Black and red, those are the colors.
This looks like Deadpool over here.
This is clearly neoliberalism. He's saying, wow, a gay one. And he's falling in love with the homo nationalist, the pride flag with the Nazi symbol on it.
I don't understand what the commentary here is.
The commentary...
What is the commentary?
Is that neolibs love gay people so much that they overlook the Nazism.
Okay, what would be a real world example in which this has ever happened?
It's a joke. It's simply a joke.
Look at this ball. Look at this blob comic here. Look at all this. Look at all the layers of nonsense that you would have to know to understand what is going on here. And I want to point out that this one is no conceptually dumber than my tooth ball because it's just a white ball with like a flask on it. So like, what does he represent? The concept of science.
Yeah, he's science. He's scientism.
And this is like a yin yang or something.
That's
right?
technocracy.
Oh well, how foolish I was to not understand that immediately. And then we've got like the Nazis here, and then I don't know. This this is like America, and this is like an orange one, and I don't know what's going on here. This is like a Christian thing, and that's just it's like, how deep do you have to be in the lore to even begin to understand this? Like, how much required reading, how many wikis did you have to read, how much time did you have to waste to get literate in this sort of preposterous world?
Wasting time. Look, you click here.
How did this get 700 comments?
It's because people love it.
How much is there to
click
say?
Here, and you just search through the comments, and you can sort of get a gist of what people are saying. A right-wing technocrat. Okay, well, why are they talking about technocrats? Well, that's because there's a technocracy in here. You can figure it out like that.
I mean, like, for
And
starters,
sometimes they post all the balls in the comments.
just kind of like a little annotations, because it's so inherently intimidating that no one can instinctively understand it without a little reader's guide.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even good political commentary, because like no one normal engages with politics with this level of ideological labeling.
Yeah. Your appeal to normality will soon be snuffed out, JJ.
What is this one? This is like a sort of vegetable ball or something. He's like
No,
farmer.
that green is just the green side of the political compass. So he's the progressive.
And this one's wearing, what is this one? Like underpants?
Those are
balls?
socks. That's sock dem. Their symbol is the sock. They're social democrats.
According to who?
But they're not well, according to them, they have sock in their Twitter bios.
I've never heard of that before.
Well, that's because you don't hang around enough about social democrat
Social
Twitter.
Democrat. I've seen social democrat parties, and none of them use socks as their logo.
Yeah, but that's because Twitter is like leftists will call social democrats sock dems as sort of like an insult. So they've taken the sock in their Twitter bio as a reclaiming of the insult.
Look at these ones. They just have things written on. This is the symbol of the social democrats. It's the hand holding the rose.
That's a symbol of the democratic socialists. Very different.
Who cares?
You don't know your way between a democratic socialist and a social democrat. That's what that comic was about. It was about a progressive trying to join the
I also don't like
democratic socialists.
how much normalization of like Nazism is going on here. Like,
Well,
this
look,
is
you
just
can't talk about politics. What are you supposed to do? Have an iron cross instead?
No, it's just kind of like, this idea that like, the Nazis are just kind of like these playful characters who are just kind of part of our political discourse. They're equivalent to the sock man and the rose man and the, the pumpkin man and all the other dumb things. This one is like some sort of cowboy man.
That's the horseshoe centrist, JJ. That's a creature of my creation.
You made up the cowboy man?
Yeah. That's the horseshoe centrist. The way I see it, there's no difference between left and right.
Yeah.
But now they've taken that philosophy and they've made it apply to no difference between dating a man and a woman. They're a horseshoe bisexual centrist.
This one got 200 comments.
Yeah, and 3,000 upvotes.
These ones are playing Connect 4.
Yeah.
The cowboy man, and then this one.
Because the horseshoe centrist doesn't see a difference between the red and yellow, so he just thinks he wins.
So he's just basically like colorblind. That's his characteristic.
Well, no, he just can't differentiate between opposite concepts.
I don't like these things. Here they are hanging out. These ones are wearing masks. When does it end?
All right. So maybe your color ball has legs, all right?
I think color balls could work, I think it's much more accessible. You don't need to like do a ton of like lore research to understand what an orange ball would be doing to the red ball, and I think it's a bit more challenging, perhaps. Well, I mean, it's no more challenging than this nonsense, right? I mean, to try to come up with fun situations that the colors would be in is I think it could lead to some better comics, I would say. Same with the body part balls, and I have some other ideas too, like planet balls, like the
Whereas
planets.
the balls aren't just planets; they're balls with the planets inside.
Yeah,
like
but I mean
this.
that's no different than half these things, which are just balls with like logos on them.
Yeah, but most of the balls are flags and stuff. Well, when they would make
Look at this one. This is like a ball with an umbrella, right? So it's like, why couldn't we make like a bunch of like household object balls, right? You got like umbrella ball, you got like toaster ball, like the household appliances, like in that show, The Brave Little Toasters.
Yeah,
except they're
but
balls.
the thing with the Brave Little Toasters is it just had the appliances. They didn't have to make them into ball characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't have to make these into ball characters.
the best
like,
ball characters are associated with a flag of some kind.
Well, none of these are actual flags. These
Yeah, they
just-
are.
No, these are just like random color assignments.
If I look up a ANCOM flag, the first thing I get is going to be a red and black flag.
Yeah, but that's not an actual flag.
That's the flag that the anarchists fly. It's a real flag.
But none of these other things are real flags. Like so many of these are so convoluted. Like they're just like random sort of color. You know, like it's clear that these were made up for the purposes of creating these characters, right? Like these are not sort of like in any way naturally occurring in the sort of political culture, right? They're just, how do I go back to the posts?
Boomer JJ.
Yeah, let's see, like all of these different little color people.
Those are all different anarchist flags. That's mutualism.
No, those are not like these are things that were
in.
Like I said, like these were things that were invented for the purposes of creating more blob characters. They're not sort of naturally occurring in the political world. There is not that much political symbolism in the political world.
Well, not in your political world, but in the new political world.
In this kind of like look at this nonsense. Like this is not politics. This is just like Zoomer gobbledygook.
Look, there's the Nazbol gang. There's Strasserism.
Where's you?
Where's me? I would exist on the edges.
No, but like, where's the JREG? What's happening to this one? He's like deflating.
That's acid communism. He's doing a lot of drugs.
This one is, what is this? This is Santa Claus as a sort of political ideology?
I guess so.
I thought you knew all the blobs, Greg.
Well, some of these are non-canon.
Who decides what's canon and non-canon?
The community.
The community.
The community decides.
What about the one that you made the doll of for your channel?
Oh, I made two dolls. The Anarchitty?
No. The one that's like the blob and it has like all of the different
Oh,
features.
yeah, that's the anti-centrist ball.
Where's he?
I don't think he really fits on a spectrum.
Look at this one. It's like I mean, some of these are kind of fun characters, but I mean, they're not, like, this one's like a pretzel.
That's the biblically accurate angel is the ideology.
It looks kind of like a pretzel. I think it would, here's a fun idea. There should be, like, snack balls. So there could be, like, pretzel ball and, like, you know, Coke ball and French fry and hamburger ball. Those would be some fun situations. These are just ridiculous. I mean,
there's your dead centrist ball, your feminist ball, you know. Anonymous ball.
What about this one? This is Cthulhu ball?
Yeah, that's the Cthulhu ball.
This one's a jellyfish. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's one of the kinds of the Eldritch balls.
What's going on with this one?
I'm not sure. It seems like some kind of gender ball.
This one kind of looks like one of those puddings that the Brits eat at Christmas.
I believe that's a post-right...
Puddin' ball?
I think that's post-right ball.
I'm going to call that one puddin' ball.
I think it's post-right anarchism,
It's going to be puddin' ball. And just puddin' ball and Christmas ball. They could be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Thanksgiving ball?
The Thanksgiving ball?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a Christmas ball, there's got to be a Thanksgiving ball, right?
A
lot of them, some of them have hats. A lot of king balls I see here. This one's a king. This one's also a king. This one's a girl. This one's also a king. How many king balls are there? A lot of king balls. This one's a girl as well. This is like a Nyan Cat ball.
No, that's fully automated luxury gay space communism.
It's not a thing.
Well, not a thing yet, because we're not gay or in space yet.
Saxophone ball. Is saxophone a political ideology now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, not all of these are canon. Some of these originated in the Polkumpal Anarchy wiki, where they generate new political thought.
I want to hear about the philosophy that is saxophone.
Okay.
Figure that out for me, Greg.
All
if
right.
you want to learn, if I want to see a comic about saxophone ball, in order to understand one of these supposedly hilarious comics, show me the work that has to be done to understand this.
All right, fine. You type in saxophone, Polkumpal.
Do Google image search.
I think that one, you know, is definitely a Polkumpal Anarchy ball.
Look, no, this guy's talking about it right here. He says, is that what the saxophone ball is?
Well, here, we'll check there. We'll also go just Polkumpal Anarchy.
Oh, it's third way. I get it, because it's a reference to Bill Clinton, who played the saxophone.
Oh, I see.
Because I saw somebody mention that in the thing before. They'd say, like, something about third way.
Wait, let's see what they say here. We've got soulism and soulism. Anarcho-jazzism, yes. Yeah, unfortunately, the last Polkumpal community got removed because they were too afraid of our new political thought.
But no, go back to the one before. There was somebody who was talking about third way-ism.
Third way.
Go back. Yeah.
Bill Clinton playing sax.
Looks like there's a lot of unrest in the third way wiki.
we're kind of going through a period of restructuring.
But it's like you can just define, like I could just make a ball and it's like this is you know, Chuck Schumer ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything like there's another there's another cowboy ball. There was already a cowboy ball.
Well, this is the anarchy wiki. There's no laws here. People can just post whatever they want.
Yeah, but I mean there's no laws in any of this, right?
No, there are laws. There's strict laws for which ones become canon. If we go to Polkamp ball,
but how can there be canon if this is like inherently sort of non-hierarchical and people just do whatever they want?
Because people need to widely agree on accepting an ideology. So if we look up, Bookchin, communalism, that's a cannonball, and we can check on.
But it's canon because it has its own entry.
Yeah.
Well, then what stops you of just making your own entry?
Well, because the community will not allow you to post just any ball you want here. It has to, have actual sources behind it. It has to be a real
sources
thing.
Like what? What is sources?
Well, like Bookchin was a real guy who really advocated for these ideals.
So, Chuck Schumer is a real guy.
Yeah, but Bookchin was historically important.
Well, I would say that Chuck Schumer is probably more historically important than that guy.
Okay, well then maybe Chuck Schumer should have.
Well, where's the Chuck Schumer ball? Let's make one right now, Greg.
I don't. But
if
like,
I draw one, can we make a?
The thing is, did Chuck Schumer advocate for anything that's significantly different from our alternative, like our philosophies we already have? That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
Bookchin made his own thing.
Chuck Schumer is advocating for the Biden agenda, which is a thing that's never existed before in history because Biden's never been president before in history.
Yeah, but Biden is a social liberal. He has socially liberal policies.
No, but his policies are very specific to the moment that we're in right now.
Yeah, but they still fall under a center-left ideology.
Well, I mean, as you saw with that giant grid, there's no way that there's like 6,000 different political ideologies.
You could make the argument, but then the community would have to accept that and as an idea that is exciting enough to warrant its own ball.
Well, it doesn't sound like this community has particularly exacting standards of what is or isn't a valid political ideology. It just seems like they seem seem like they're erring on the side of just making as many damn balls as possible.
No. Look, all of these balls here looks like a lot, but they're all based off of some kind of historical, cultural movement.
These are clearly not movements.
Yeah, black anarchism, that was a movement.
I mean, everything is a movement if it just means that some guy somewhere has thought of it.
No, it's not just some guy somewhere. There were black anarchists.
What the hell is Diggerism? Like, what is the standard of this?
Well, yeah, look it up.
So, Diggerism is a proto-socialist and anarchist ideology of the true levelers or diggers, blah, 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 pre-capitalist in... So there's no evidence here.
What do you mean there's... Look, boom. The Wikipedia, the diggers. There we go.
I don't like Wikipedia.
What do you mean you don't like Wikipedia? You can't just discount Wikipedia, JJ, you boomer. Look at this. Founded in 1651. They had agrarian socialists.
So founded in 1649, dissolved in 1651.
Yeah, they lasted 2 years.
So it existed for less than 2 years.
But they were a proto-anarcho-communist ideology. They had the foundations of anarcho-communists, so they were still historically significant because...
Well, how is it historically significant? Just because it has a Wikipedia page? I mean, it's like, I bet you could take like a ton of people, who are politically literate, and they would have no idea what the digger movement is.
Well, look, they're seen as the forerunners of modern anarchism. That's a pretty big claim. And if you went to Anarchism and Religion, the Anarchist Library, 1991...
This is like the sole source for their relevance?
No. Look, look at all these writings they have. Look at all these writings they have.
This seems like pretty...
And look at the influence they had in popular culture. You just don't want to admit that the diggers were a historically significant force. See, now you know. Now you know about the diggers.
Let's look at the talk page. I bet you there's been some controversy about this. I see it was rated a low-class, low-importance article in
that was
Christianity.
That was a while ago, but look, they're blowing up now that they're used as a ball. You see?
Well, exactly, right. So this just becomes sort of there was an article to debate to delete it. I mean, the thing is that like there's so many like random people over the course of history who have had some claim of an ideology that they could put a name on, or not a name on. And it's not even an ideology. A lot of this is just like factions of other ideologies, right? So it's like, for example, like, you know, there's the NDP, and then like in the 1960s and 70s, there was like the waffle faction of the NDP. So like, does that get its own ball now just because like it was a movement of like a couple of people that existed for a few years in Canada?
It depends if the people want that ball or not.
I mean, the people clearly want as many dumb characters as possible.
No, because we have Polkump Ball Anarchy, and not all of those balls get in. Most of those balls don't. 99% of them.
99%.
Yeah, Polkump Ball Anarchy has 6,000 entries, and the canon entries are like 200.
This is just not a good way to engage with politics. This is like sort of like, you know, junk food politics, you know? It sort of feels like you're consuming
Boomer. I'm a boomer. I'm out of touch.
Stop it.
I'm old.
I'm not old and out of touch. This is just young people nonsense.
All right. Well, have any last words for the audience, JJ, before you stop your boomer nonsense?
Just read actual books. Don't just read silly comics. This is not what being politically literate is all about.
Kids, never read a book. Never read books.